Hello guys, essay human rights. What are human rights? All human rights are universal, indivisible, and interdependent and interrelated. Human rights are difficult to define, notwithstanding that the term is used extensively and frequently. General human rights are regarded as those fundamental and inalienable rights which are essential for life as a human being. There is, however, an absence of consensus as to what these rights are, and frequently it is easier to identify what is the human right are intended to achieve rather than what they are. Protection of the individual from an abuse of state authority. Human rights have accepted a universal acceptable definition presenting a problem to international regulation. Human rights, more than any other issue, highlight the distinction between universals and cultural relatives. Universals reflect the position endorsed by the UN World Conference on Human Rights in the June 1993 the final conference. The relative is fundamental human rights differ from state to state, functional by the statute, values, culture, and religious tradition. Adherence to the relative theory frequently criticizes international human rights instruments as simply reinforcing Western concepts and values in the guise of universal right. At its simplest, the difference between the universality approach and that of the relatives is the emphasis on the individual. The emphasis in universal is on the individual, whereas relative place to emphasis on the state. Relative accept the right pertaining to individual, but emphasize that individuals are defined in terms of their relation with others and as a part of society. As with all theory, there are every degree of observance at its strictest culture. Relative maintain human rights are inapplicable to non-Western society where others accept human rights are universal, but a different society should be reflected with international human rights instruments. The debate between universalism and cultural relatives has increased in intensity with the development of human rights and the chippy way as state sovereignty and domestic jurisdiction. Cultural diversity is not denied, and universalism and cultural diversity are not mentally exclusive. The 1993 Vienna Conference concluded. While significant of national and regional particulars and various historical, culture, and religious background must be borne in mind, it is the duty of state regardless of their political, economic, and cultural system, to promote and protect all human rights and fundamental freedom. And international instruments which highlight sensitively to cultural diversity is the UN Convention on the Right of the Child, Article 20, Part 3, in the fiqh, kafala in Islam law as in the alternative care system alongside foster care and adoption, said by an acknowledged that adoption is not recognized within every society. Traditionally, human rights have been subdivided into three classifications: first, second, and third generation rights. According to the classification, first generation rights and those which might be characterized as civil and political rights, economic, social, and cultural rights as second generation, and group rights as third generation or solitary human rights. The distinction feature of the latter being the particular focus of collective right as opposed to the emphasis on individual right after first and second generation classification. The right to development and the right to self-determination are two of the principal examples of third generation right. The Vienna Conference affirmed the right to development as the fundamental human right. This was endorsed by UN Secretary General Boutrous who his personal commitment to development agenda for development. The third generation rights originated in the 1970s as it remains controversial, with the primary protagonist being the developing state. Definition and enforcement of third generation rights has given rise to considerable academic debate, with, for example, Italia emphasizes right as human right to their exceptions as a subcategory of human right. The classification of human right by generation is highly contested, as in predator from better right, which should be avoided. For instance, the classification of right, even as political, civil, economic, social, and cultural, has promoted debate, and the recurring theme has been the normative relationship between the various just categories of right, as the whether both categories merit characterized as right proper and ways that civilian political right alone merit as term human right, where social, economic, and cultural right are only aspiration. All alternative argument is the social, economic, and cultural right or right proper as they alone are vehicle of social change, where civil and political right only maintain the status quo. A further distinction frequently made is the civilian political only require a set time from doing something, where economic, social, and cultural rights demand positive action. However, if a right remain a right irrespective of how it is to be achieved. Such as a distinction further fails to recognize that all right involve a cost. Responsibility is erroneous to argue that civil and political rights do not involve a cost, where economic, social, and cultural right do. For instance, the abolition of the death penalty is an example in mind. Not only is there the cost of maintaining high security prison, there is also the cost of educating prison personnel, notwithstanding the foregoing any distinction between civil and political right and economic, social, and cultural right is at odds with a position of the Committee on Economic, Social, and Cultural Right, and in particular General Committee, where the state effort to promote one set of rights should also take full account of the other. The United Nations agency involved in the promotion of economic, social, and cultural rights should do their utmost to ensure that their activities are fully consistent with the enjoyment of the civil and political rights. In other words, the civil and political rights and economic, social, and cultural rights are indivisible and interdependent. However, it is true that different conditions prevail and different priorities in respect of human rights is inevitable because the word resources are not perfectly described. That's enough. To be continued tomorrow. Goodbye.